A little girl lies on her bed battling a high fever of 40 degrees Celsius, her life hanging by a thread as the ambulance races towards her. In a state of utter desperation, her mother, frantic and helpless, resorts to immersing her daughter in ice water, hoping to reduce the fever.
It just feels cold because you're so hot. Susan, stay with me. Susan.
As the ambulance arrives and the girl is rushed to the hospital, she fixates on a man dressed in black. His deep gaze seems to ease her pain even as the doctors fight to save her. Despite their efforts, the girl never regains consciousness. Overwhelmed by grief, her mother screams her daughter's name, praying for a miracle. Then, in an astonishing turn of events, the girl appears next to the man in black unharmed. She asks if he's God and he replies, "I'm an angel, here to take you home." With that, the angel named Seth takes her hand and leads her down the corridor. Dressed in black, angels like Seth are stationed across cities worldwide, listening to God's commands by the sea at dawn, attuned to everyone's thoughts. Meanwhile, Seth diverts his attention from a man contemplating his maxed-out credit card to prevent an imminent flight disaster with a timely intervention. Maggie, a skilled surgeon, faces a critical moment when a patient's heart flutters dangerously during surgery. As she fights for the patient's life, Seth arrives to guide the soul to heaven, locking eyes with Maggie. Her determination in the face of death offers Seth, a witness to countless departures, a new perspective on life. Following the surgery's failure and the patient's family's despair, all Maggie can offer is an apology before she flees to weep in the stairwell.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Seth hears Maggie's heartache, sees her tears, and feels her pain. He longs to comfort her, but she's unaware of his presence. Witnessing Maggie's struggle with the surgery's outcome, Seth decides to reveal himself to help her. When Maggie inquires if he's visiting a patient, Seth gazes at her tenderly, saying he's there for her. Maggie, puzzled yet intrigued, engages in conversation with Seth, who seems to understand her inner turmoil.
It wasn't your fault, Maggie.
Realizing he knows her name, Maggie questions how. Seth points to her name tag, easing her doubts. After asking his name, she bids him farewell with a touch of humor. Just a few steps out, Maggie turns back only to find Seth has vanished. In the changing room, she realizes her full name isn't on her badge. Seth must have known her name all along. A realization that brings a spontaneous smile to her face. In this world, there are beings amongst us, unseen unless death is near. Since encountering Maggie, a doctor fighting for life in the hospital, Seth, an angel guiding souls to heaven, finds his world transformed. After meeting Seth, Maggie's spirits gradually lift, and she even hums during surgeries. Her mind filled with Seth's handsome features and tender gaze. At 3 a.m. as usual, Maggie wakes up and discovers a book under her water glass, a book she adores. Thinking it's from her boyfriend to comfort her, she's disappointed and puzzled to learn he didn't place it there. Curious about the book's origin, Maggie visits the library where she's surprised to find Seth. He comments on Hemingway's descriptive talents, which he admires. Maggie asks about his occupation, and Seth reveals he's a messenger of God. Taking it as a joke, Maggie laughs, and their enjoyable conversation draws the attention of many curious angels. Seth suggests leaving the library, and Maggie takes him to a market. When she savors the scent of a fruit, Seth mimics her, despite lacking the sense of smell, a detail Maggie notices. Maggie bites into a pear, and Seth, yearning to understand, asks about its taste. Surprised, she explains, and he asks her to describe it in Hemingway's words, a request she can't refuse due to his earnestness.
Sweet. Juicy. Soft on your tongue, grainy, like sugary sand that dissolves in your mouth.
In the hospital lab, they discuss life after death. Seth's unique perspectives always intrigue Maggie. When an alert sounds, Maggie asks Seth to wait, but he, unwilling to part, follows her invisibly. Maggie swiftly resolves patient Nathan's issue and departs. Seth eases Nathan's pain and is about to leave when Nathan stops him. Maggie, returning to the lab, finds Seth gone, feeling a profound sense of loss. Nathan confides in Seth that he too was once an angel, but chose to become human for his wife 30 years ago, highlighting the value of free will bestowed by God upon humanity. Nathan further explains the transformation into humanity requires a leap from the heavens, sacrificing angelic existence. Curious, Seth inquires why Nathan relinquished immortality for humanity. Nathan reveals his family photos, stating his love for his wife and the life they built together as his reason for becoming human, emphasizing the enduring connections and love that define human existence. During Nathan's birthday party, Maggie discovers a photograph of Seth with Nathan's granddaughter, where Seth appears merely as a sphere of light. This leads her to bring Seth home and playfully ask him to chop cabbage, during which she notices a knife passing through Seth's finger without causing any harm. To confirm her observation, Maggie slices Seth's palm with the knife, but no wound appears. Seth tries to explain, but Maggie, a mortal overwhelmed by fear of the unknown and feelings of betrayal, decisively sends him away. Following this, Maggie often finds herself distracted at work.
Doctor.
Struggling with sleeplessness and a deep sense of loneliness, Maggie calls out and Seth appears. She can feel his presence and pleads with him not to leave. Under Seth's watch, Maggie's insomnia subsides. In the afternoon, while daydreaming, Maggie receives a marriage proposal from her boyfriend but hesitates. Nathan, during a checkup, perceives her visit is motivated by her feelings for Seth. He tells Maggie that Seth is willing to forsake the angelic realm and eternity for her if she wishes. Maggie realizes the depth of Seth's love but doesn't want him to make such a significant sacrifice. She informs Seth about her boyfriend's proposal, leading to Seth's heartbroken remark that she doesn't love him. Maggie responds that she needs someone who can physically feel her presence. Despite Maggie's departure, Seth's love for her remains unyielded. He climbs to the rooftop, overlooks the glittering city below, and jumps, with memories flashing before him. When Seth awakens, feeling physical pain for the first time, he rushes to share his joy with Maggie, only to find she's not at the hospital. He learns from a colleague that Maggie has gone to Lake Tahoe. Without hesitation, and now as a human without resources, Seth attempts to hitchhike, only to be robbed. Amidst the pouring rain, his determination to see Maggie doesn't waver, and eventually a truck stops for him, moved not by God but by angels. Back home, Maggie, lost in thought, hears a noise outside. Opening the door, she instantly understands everything. She tends to Seth's wounds, and when he asks if he's too late, she shakes her head.
I couldn't marry Joy. I'm in love with you.
The next morning, after Maggie prepares breakfast, Seth experiences the scent of perfume, a hot shower, and the beauty of the world outside for the first time, exhilarated by every new sensation. Maggie feels unprecedented happiness, embracing her newfound freedom, while Seth deeply connects with her emotions. However, fate takes a tragic turn when Maggie is involved in a car accident on her way home. Sensing her danger, Seth rushes to find her. At the crash site, he is devastated to find Maggie injured. As he considers seeking help, Maggie pleads with him to stay, apologizing repeatedly.
God, no, Maggie. To touch you and feel you. To be able to hold your hand right now. You know what that means to me, do you? You know how much I love you.
Maggie acknowledges Seth's sacrifices and expresses no fear of death, only regretting she can't continue their journey together. She then sees angels. In the end, when asked by a fellow angel if he would choose humanity again, knowing the outcome, Seth reflects and responds affirmatively. He'd exchange eternity for just a moment with her, to smell her hair, kiss her lips, touch her hand, and experience just a second of that love with no regrets. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this.